can say definitively that religions are all bullshit.
Welcome to Brainstorm.
We have the explicit tag for a reason.
This is a base level argument to a higher level morality.
I get paid to science?
To science as much as one can science.
What the hell was my point?
Trigger warning. The Brainstorm podcast will criticize your most cherished beliefs. We attack nonsense in all its forms and discuss difficult subjects. If you peddle pseudoscience, supernatural woo, or religious dogma, then this is not your safe place. This is the home of hardcore skepticism.
It wasn't flavor, it just...
To those listening live or to our patrons, welcome back. For those listening weekly, welcome to the Shift to Reason Radio, the Brainstorm production that tries to educate and inform.
What's that?
We'll take current events and important skeptical topics and try to analyze them critically. Remember that we're live on Spreaker.com every second Friday, and today is October 27th, 2017. I'm still joined by Angela.
Hello.
Basit.
What's that?
Rene.
Hello.
Destin.
Still not a racist.
And Lisa.
Me.
With the always amazing Dave doing sound.
I object to Gumby's claims.
Well, we'll talk that out in the bonus content, Dave.
All right.
Bonus. I'll give you a bonus.
Yeah.
Me likey.
Sounds like it's going to be a lively bonus content.
I have a mustache.
I must ask you a question.
My personality's changed.
Say hello to my little friend.
It's crawling.
Mustachio.
That's right.
All right. Let's jump into some religious nuttery.
Cornerstone, this might be new to some of you. Scripture says that even our righteous deeds are as filthy rags to God. So even the good things that you do, even things like feeding the hungry and clothing the poor and taking in widows and orphans, as nice as those things are, if not done from the place of obedience to and a relationship with God, are completely worthless and disgusting to God. If you're not daily walking in a place of relationship to God, then the news that we have to bring you is that you're on your way to hell right now.
All right, Gumby, what do you got for us?
Going to hell right now.
You betcha.
I'll be back.
Fine, go then.
Fine then.
You're on your way.
All right.
See you there.
So this is actually just from a few days ago, and it was posted by David McAfee.
Oh, yep.
Christian shelter forces homeless women to give 10% to megachurch. So there's a Christian women's center in Alabama, and it is called, what's the name of it? Jesse's Place, sorry. And it was forcing homeless residents to attend the largest megachurch in the state, and when they get a job, they have to give the church 10% of their income. So this is exactly the opposite of how things should work. Churches and homeless shelters should be helping people and not forcing them to give up what little money they do have. That's exactly what Jesse Place in downtown Birmingham is doing. I'm just reading this verbatim right now. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's one thing to require church attendance. It's a Christian shelter, so that isn't a big surprise. It's quite another to tell a woman like Dana Johnson, who's one that was interviewed for this, who has been living at Jesse's Place for about a month, and wanted to attend her own church, which is just a few blocks away from the shelter, that she had to attend a branch of the Church of the Highlands, which is a giant fucking church. The first Breastbyterian. That's a different type of church. Sorry, the first Presbyterian church of Birmingham, where Johnson wanted to attend.
Title.
I might want to go to that church, actually.
Who wouldn't? It's in walking distance from the shelter. But instead of letting her go there, the shelter leader said she had required to go to the megachurch, which a whole bunch of people had to board a van and attend service at Woodlawn Branch, which is quite a ways away. Jesse's Place has responded to the allegation, saying that the policy keeps women from lying about going to church. They also denied that the women are required to give money to that specific church. Johnson called them out on that claim. When she got a job, she was also told that she was required to tithe or donate 10% of her income. She was told to go to a bank, get a money order, and make it payable to the Church of the Highlands, she said.
Do they get receipts?
I'm not sure. I don't know if they have like some knee breakers, some
How does that work? Eh?
Guido priests.
No, I was going to say if it's a donation, like if
Well,
she
that's
gets
ties or donations, yeah.
Yeah, so then this is just awful.
It's not a legal issue though, because it is a
No.
Christian group, and they can make homeless women attend whichever church they see fit, apparently. But it is an ethical issue. Tony Cooper, I did a bit of digging. Yeah, actually did a bit of digging for my article.
Oh my God, he did work.
Tony Cooper is the executive
shit.
executive director of the Jimmy Hale Mission, which operates Jesse's Place. He said the shelter policies are explained to women when they sign in. It's a Christian ministry, and church attendance is required, he said. They know they'll be going to a church on Sunday. We're going to go to a church that's local and close by, one that we're comfortable with. We can't supervise 15 or 20 women going to different places. It's convenience more than anything else. So getting on a bus and driving quite a ways is a lot more convenient than everybody walking a block.
Interesting.
They ought to be able to tithe wherever they want to tithe. That's God's money. Cooper said that women were told that they had to tithe to a certain church. That's wrong. If that's the case, there's something we need to take another look at. I don't have a problem with the tithing part, but I have a problem with them being told where to tithe. Teaching tithing is part of teaching them how to manage a budget, and as a Christian ministry, tithing is part of being Christian.
Here, give 10% of your money away for no good reason. That's a budgeting.
Well, I mean, tithing is kind of a common Christian
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. Like if you're a Christian woman and you end up at a Christian shelter, you already know that if you're going to go back to work, you're expected to tithe. The problem isn't them expecting the women to tithe. The problem is tithing itself.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
That's right.
To an organization that doesn't pay fucking taxes.
Yeah. We're going to charge you 10% tax for the tax that we don't have to pay. So, yeah, I totally understand, and it enrages me, and I think it's bullshit. But I
just wonder, why aren't there more secular shelters?
Because it's hard to get donations for secular shelters.
Because they don't have to take 10% from the homeless women these ones self-perpetuate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
You know what happens here is that sometimes like religious places that are doing this thing, then the organization over time is like, we don't want to have any ties to this religious place. And then they switch over and they remain viable. Like Carmichael Outreach in town is a good example of that. You know, they started off as a United Church thing, and now they're just a secular, like they're their own thing.
Nice.
And they're not a shelter, but they do a lot of work with the homeless people, and they're legitimate, and people donate to them. So it's almost like you have to start there first, and then you can just remove that label.
Or the YMCA.
YMCA did the same thing here in Canada.
A long time ago.
Yeah. So
YMCA used to be super Christian.
YWCA is a shelter, and they're not Christian at all either. So
right.
Yeah, neither is the hidden women's shelter that they have. What's it called?
Which is just around the corner.
Yeah.
The not so hidden shelter now?
My aunt's place?
I don't know if
My aunt's place?
Yeah, my aunt's place is one of them. Yeah.
You suck at hiding women.
Well, he's good at hiding the ones that are in his basement.
Oh, sorry, that's true.
Okay, I'm out.
We started on a serious discussion and we end there.
So the general consensus is that Dave has women in his basement.
That is the conclusion.
I'm not sure how we went from tithing to that, but okay.
That's where we ended up.
I was trying to give you a legitimate
Dave knows what he's talking about, everybody.
I've worked in this industry.
Yeah.
Fucking
social worker.
Oh.
Fuck.
Speaking of that industry, something really pissed me off yesterday.
About social work?
Sort of. Celeste Yanni, I used to work with at Mazda.
Name redacted.
Name redacted.
No, she was murdered. We don't have to redact her name.
Okay.
And the guy that killed her, she worked at the shelter that Dave's talking about for abused women.
Whoa, when did this happen?
When did she get killed?
Yeah.
Like 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
The trial was supposed to start next week, but he just fired his lawyer yesterday. So now the whole thing's being postponed again.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
So all of the witnesses were coming in. All of the family was flying in from the States and from other parts of the country. They already have their tickets, they already have their accommodations booked, and everybody has to cancel.
Jeez.
Just because an abusive dirtbag fired his lawyer. Mm-hmm. So there is definitely something broken with our justice system. Now, to be fair, everybody deserves representation and good representation and best they can get.
Yes.
I mean,
there should be a time limit for how early before the thing you can fire.
He's sitting on remand probably anyway, or in...
Yeah.
Like, so it's not like he's not serving his sentence.
In holding.
Yeah.
There's... For more information on how screwed up the Canadian justice system is, you can always listen to The Docket. Mm-hmm. They do a great podcast about the legal system.
And firing your lawyer near your trial is not an uncommon thing to do, too, because you are given more credit for the time that you spend in remand before your trial than you do after the fact. They usually, they credit you double time for what you spend before you've been...
It's like a stat holiday. It's like working a stat.
Exactly. You get paid double time. and that's a common tactic. It's a very common tactic.
Or double +8.
Yeah. I wish I got paid that much. I'd be
All right.
so great.
So that's our only religious story. Let's do some Woo Report.
I'm not a scientist, but if I can tell you your science sucks, then your science really sucks.
That just makes no fucking sense. I mean, it's just bullshit. Fuck.
All right, Rene, what do you got for us?
I don't know how I can follow that up. Okay, let's talk about a spoiled rock star wanting to make UFOs.
All right, let's do it.
Cool.
So Tom DeLonge, who was a member of Blink-182 and now Angels and Airwaves, apparently has started his own... I don't know how to describe it. Maybe think tank called
Think Tank. Well, I guess that's one way. It seems
absence of think tank.
Well, that's the scary part. Is he's in theory got some very smart people in this. It's weird. It's really fucking weird. It's called the To the Stars Academy, and. Let's see. On their website, here's we are and then a former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence, a former Senior Intelligence Officer, CIA, former Advanced Systems Director for Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, and if I remember, because I listened to another interview with him, and that's that was part of development of the Blackbird and
stealth and.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. Former director of programs to investigate unidentified aerial threats, which apparently they're now calling UFOs.
UATs.
Yeah. And group of distinguished physicists.
That means nothing.
Well,
nothing.
The term consultants.
Well, yeah. They have, let's see, the team. Tom DeLonge, whatever. But he has, Dr. Hal Puthoff, who's apparently a physicist, Steve Justice, Luis Elizondo, Chris Mellon, Dr. Harry Nolan, Dr. Paul Rapp, Dr. Norm Kahn. Anyway, Dr. Colm Kellner. So he's got some people with some doctor name behind them. They make them look really professional.
Right.
And, yeah, so... And, he's trying to create this big thing, and it's a crowd. He's started up basically a Kickstarter, and they're at 1.6 million.
Yeah, no, that doesn't surprise me.
And yeah, and I got this. I read the article and just was
aliens.
Yeah, and he even got tied. He's even got tied into because he was sending emails to Hillary Clinton.
Oh.
So it got dragged into the whole Podesta emails fucking fiasco of the elections. It's kind of crazy. And I don't know what to say. I mean, I read the article. It seems sort of kind of legit. And then I listened to his interview with Joe Rogan.
Okay.
And he was trying to tell his story, but he couldn't drop any names, and he couldn't say this, and then he was talking about basically all the harm. Basically, I listened to it, and all I could think of is he got really, really fucking stoned on all the drugs. Started with Stargate, and just kept on going until deep into Ancient Aliens, and then out came this. You know, like he was talking about they have a metal that they found, and when they hit it with terahertz, it warps space-time and becomes lighter, and he kept saying terahertz. I'm like, that's a fucking wavelength. Terahertz a what? You know, like it was.
Yeah.
It was really
terahertz.
Like, terahertz. Yeah.
Also, do we actually?
It's actually a frequency, but yeah.
Yeah, it is a frequency. I understand that, but he didn't say a
how many
sound wave or a
he didn't say
a
a frequency of what.
Yeah, how many terahertz?
Yeah, and it was just
terahertz.
There was just enough.
Now I have to do the math.
They really like that. Like
there was just enough. There was
roosters.
just enough science to make it sound plausible.
They really like that whole vibrating on an alternate frequency type.
Well, because he was talking about how they're going to
or those special metals.
The special metals that's going to bend space time. Right, because that's how they traverse the galaxy, which is in theory, yes.
Oh, okay, terahertz radiation is submillimeter radiation, so like somewhere between like microwaves and infrared.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what the fuck that's.
I mean, because the problem is I'm not a physicist, so I don't know what he was talking about. But he kept on going on about redshift.
Well, our physicist doesn't know what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I had to look it up because physicists would refer to it as a submillimeter. You'd refer to it in a wavelength, not a frequency. But sorry, redshift of what?
I'd have to put myself
Phase-space manipulation of free electron pulses from metal nanotips using combined terahertz near fields.
Makes perfect sense.
So,
sense.
Basically, the rough translation is Tom DeLonge has been a UFO nut for 20 years,
right?
And he has money, and somehow he has talked to some.
He's
sort of
semi-famous, and he's got money.
Yeah.
So,
and it's like a think tank because he's trying to do obviously he's got the entertainment side. That's his baby because he's already released a book and he's planning on releasing movies and all this kind of stuff. But part of it is I'm trying to get to the right spot. Where it breaks it down. Under science, they want to do research into consciousness, engineering space-time, brain-computer interface, telepathy, and analysis center for UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena.
At least they listed it in order from most plausible to least. Like they sorted it, right? Which is nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to have it sorted.
Under aerospace, they were going to look into electrogravitic propulsion, beamed energy launch systems, because that part I do remember from the interview. He was talking about something about shooting a laser and exploding something, which is going to be 10 times more efficient than our usual way of firing off rockets. Of course. It'll cut it from $50,000 per pound down to $5,000 per pound. And I'm like, and the only thing I could think of listening to this interview, and I'm like, well, one, Tom DeLonge, you wrote half your songs about jerking off. Suddenly you're a science guy now? What the fuck? But it was like, all I kept thinking is it's like someone with a lot of money doing something goofy. And I'm like, and if you have this kind of connections, where the fuck is Elon Musk?
I was just thinking that.
He should be all over this shit. And Joe Rogan asked him that. And he's like, we got stuff that I think Elon would be interested in. But they haven't contacted Elon Musk yet. And it's like,
of course not.
You guys remember?
Because he doesn't answer his calls.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, fuck, Tom DeLonge.
Do you guys remember B.O.B.?
Oh, that fuckface.
Almost identical. He started a GoFundMe.
Yeah, to launch a satellite in orbit to prove that the Earth is flat.
Neil deGrasse Tyson had to go on a Twitter war with him.
Well, I'm just thinking his goal was 200,000.
I love that you said deGrasse.
Neil deGrasse Junior High.
He's Canadianized him.
Yeah.
Is Neil deGrasse?
deGrasse.
Neil deGrasse.
Yeah.
deGrasse was a really awesome.
To my respect, English is my second language. That's my
but
that's okay.
yeah,
you suck. You only know 2 full languages fluently.
I know 3 full languages.
3. Well, Fuck you.
You're doing better than
If you
all
learned
of us.
0.1959 more languages, you would know pi languages, which would be really cool.
Typical
You're
physics.
such a nerd.
Just saying.
You're a really cool nerd, though.
Thank you.
I'm cooler.
Though NASA did develop a new ion thruster that is way faster than previous ones.
Oh yeah. I mean, the scary
exciting.
thing was I was watching his talk, and I'm like going, some of this sounds plausible, but it's probably bullshit.
And see, that's, I think, what's differentiating you from most of the people that are in this. Because
Well,
people
see,
are like,
I-
why aren't we doing this?
The problem
Versus
is-
you're like, this is most likely not possible because we have a lot of scientists that already are trying to do this.
Well, I think the thing was, it's almost like I have to do a full disclosure. It was like he's talking to ancient aliens and the Anunnaki and all this other crazy shit, which I love all that shit. I watch Ancient Aliens. I'm entertained as fuck by Ancient Aliens.
I'm scared of xenomorphs.
Different type of alien. But I don't believe any of it. I'm entertained by the leaps of logic that these guys make to, prove that aliens have been tinkering around with our DNA. But it's, here he's got. It seems almost legit that what Tom DeLonge is doing, but
So to me, when you say that it seems almost probable or almost possible, but
plausible,
to me it just makes it honestly just depresses me because it makes me realize how people hear the same shit when actual legitimate scientists try to like explain their work.
Right.
They hear the like the Charlie Brown adult going wah 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 like that. And obviously that's about as good a job as we're doing. If this sounds the same as
Science
real.
communication is not going well.
But that's the thing is like I guess the watching, especially putting up with the Joe Rogan interview, was I'm like sitting there going, because he kept on saying, well, I was in contact with this guy from the government, this guy from this former guy at the CIA, but he couldn't say his name. And it's like, well, if he's former,
Joe
you can
Smith.
say his fucking name.
Well,
yeah.
And like, I mean, it's just, I'm just like going, sigh, he's raised $1.6 million.
It's like, really?
Where's our Kickstarter for the conference?
$500 and $525.
We need to get
Yes.
someone that's going to talk about
275 came
aliens.
from Cory.
Yeah, we're gonna-
Yes, 275 came from me, and I'm going to kick another 200 in as soon as I get a chance.
We have to get someone to talk about aliens. Apparently,
we need exposure.
But here's
from
the
a crazy crazy rich person.
yeah, like
So Trump.
no,
Why
that's
do you
not-
automatically think about him? Like, why do we have to?
if you
go there.
make it relative to like the Bible, everything sounds so simple. We know.
I mean, the thing is, what'll happen here is because he claimed on the Joe Rogan podcast that they're going to demonstrate this special metal. They're at 1.6 million. Let's see if they actually fucking do it, which I highly doubt they will.
It's like
What's the name of the medal?
Oh, I can't remember.
Is it nth metal?
Bolognium.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
Nice.
Honestly, I'd have to like.
Did you guys hear?
Tritium.
Back to the nerding out for a sec. Did you guys hear that scientists have actually managed to find the kryptonite from the Star or from the Superman movie?
what?
Okay.
The actual compound that they say in the movie,
Oh.
they've actually found it as an existing compound.
Nice.
So Superman is real?
No, the compound is
Yes.
kind
Oh,
of.
I think that leap of logic doesn't
Yes.
fly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the compound is kind of white and chalky, but
It's not green and glowing.
no.
That sounds suspicious.
Ooh.
Damn it! Fuck that shit.
Well, I'm sorry.
I mean-
That's what happens when Krypton gets
See,
destroyed.
the thing is I did listen to the whole 2-hour interview with Tom DeLonge.
How could
You
you,
get
do
the
such
star.
a thing?
I was at work, so
I don't know
I was
how
kind of
the fuck
as
you
I was
do
doing
this
mindless shit. I had this in the
You
background.
had more mindless shit in your background.
Yeah.
Got
I
it.
love
Yeah.
like that's how it's like.
But-
It's like, how did you have time to listen to this? I was at work. It's like, oh,
I wish I could listen to more podcasts while I
See,
worked.
it's a case of I work at 6 a.m. No one's there till like 8:30, so I just turn that on and
I
kind
listen
of
to
multitask. But
you do it, Rene.
this was
I listen to
difficult.
podcasts at work too, but I listen to podcasts by smart people interviewing.
Yeah.
other
I mean,
smart
it was
people.
kind of one of those things that was really funny.
So
was
not
'cause-
this podcast.
So
Yeah.
not
this one.
The interviewees, not so much.
6 in the morning and this podcast.
Yeah.
He's hardcore.
I'm a masochist, but
you're a monster.
But like it was kind of funny because like Joe Rogan was kind of needling him for some of these things because like Joe Rogan's a bit of a UFO nut.
Yep.
And so they made a couple weird connections and whatever, and afterwards Joe Rogan's like, man, why did this have to be sober October? This would have been a much better interview if I was high too.
Yeah, shit.
Fair.
I will say one thing, not to stir the pot too much, but I've obsessively researched this stuff in the past and out of interest more than anything, and the amount of ex-military officials that have come forward and testified on certain things.
I mean, there are things
is
out there.
pretty compelling.
Yeah, like Project Blue Book.
Yeah, well, yeah, Project Blue Book is a real thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they shut it down because they didn't think that there was anything worth keeping around. I mean, conspiracy theorists would say, "Oh, it's because they found stuff and they can't."
Yeah, and they're keeping it a secret.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is, I'm not saying this proves UFOs or blah blah blah, but there is some interesting phenomenon about the amount of ex-people who would normally be considered trustworthy, rational people.
Well, that's what I was
Yeah.
saying. There's
Yeah.
enough. Like if you look on the website, like these guys he has listed, if their credentials are as true as they say on the website, there's something there. Tom DeLonge as the face of it is not.
That's just terrible. Yeah.
I mean, one of the things they got him talking about on the Joe Rogan podcast was evolution, and he's like, "Well, I just don't understand. I don't think the leaps of evolution could be natural. That's where aliens tinkered."
Which leaps?
There were no leaps.
And,
The xenomorphs.
It's all the xenomorphs.
Like the Mighty Morphin xenomorphs?
And of course,
Power
he made
Rangers.
some connection to fucking Atlantis.
Of course,
Yeah.
No, they like
see-
that.
Xenomorphs are in Atlantis?
I've actually seen Stanton Friedman speak. I'll be honest with you, and he's one of the leading like researchers in this field. And he's like a rocket scientist, like literally. Anyways, but he never makes stupid arguments like jumping towards this thing and that thing. Like he literally just presents all the evidence he has and just says, "Well, this is making me think that we need to investigate this further." Blah blah blah.
That seems like he's too reasonable to be part of the UFO community.
He's a little too reasonable because then he doesn't get he's not as glamorous, right? Like
Right.
he's not as. And I mean, having said that, he does firmly believe that there was a Roswell incident based on his research, and that the government has covered it up and stuff. But having said that, though, the stuff he presents isn't like gobbledygook bullshit. Like it's like, oh well, there's this incident that connects to this thing and da 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 da. And it's interesting. Like it's again, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but I just want to say that you're right, Rene. Like there's a compelling amount of stuff there that's kind of interesting, and I would love to see where that goes. But then it also kind of sounds crazy and weird. at the same time.
it gets muddled in like bullshit. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
Is there a possibility there's life in the universe? Yes. The fact are they coming to Earth to anally probe hillbillies? No.
Well, I would argue: is there a possibility of top secret government programs that have been, experienced by people who shouldn't have experienced them? Maybe, like it's not past the Americans to do shit like that. So
No, I mean Area 51 is a
America.
thing.
Yeah.
Now,
so,
are they holding dead alien bodies in Area 51? Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, that gets a little.
I mean, there's certain things that are things and possibilities, and then there's those leaps of logic where I'm not willing to follow.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I can't remember who it was, but somebody was talking about aliens, and they say, the fact that they probably exist, it's really, really unlikely. It's almost impossible that they don't. But if they had the advanced technology to come here, they wouldn't. They'd have no reason to if they had that kind of technology. Unless it was out of curiosity, and they would make themselves known if it was out of curiosity. More than likely.
We couldn't possibly know the motives of anything. I
Right.
mean, that's the problem.
Right. But they say it can't be for resources because our resources aren't any better than billions of other planets. right? And it can't be for making us slaves, because if they have the resources to travel here, at least hundreds of light years from anywhere, then they wouldn't need us for anything.
Maybe someday we can do a bit of a deep dive on aliens and UFOs.
Hey, if you ever want me to do a Stanton Friedman segment, I'll.
Maybe maybe that might be something we could do. Is just
do a nice deep dive on aliens.
I don't think a skeptic show can do an aliens thing.
Sure can. You just be skeptical about it.
I'm being sarcastic.
The level of sarcasm is so high, we almost missed it.
Oops.
But I mean, that's just it. Is I started watching this, and I'm going, okay, that's plausible. Maybe I don't educate enough to know if that's total bullshit, and then okay, that's fucking bullshit. But it might be something interesting to actually look into.
It's a little known fact that I actually did start a podcast once about paranormal activity. And it was from a skeptic point of view, though. It was
little known fact.
It was funny. Yeah.
What happened to it?
We didn't have time to keep doing it.
It's a little known fact that we have a podcast.
Yeah. mine was
just slightly more known.
Yeah. This is a little more intelligent.
Dave's podcast got possessed. That's what happened.
Spooky.
No, we just laughed at everything too much. And it was like we couldn't take it seriously.
Good thing we're so serious
Yeah,
here.
good thing we take everything so seriously.
Yeah. Can I just say, this is a tangent, of course, but I think it's funny that my job literally entails doing regular quality assurance on transrectal probes. And I am an alien to Saskatchewan.
That's
I say
amazing.
dinner.
See? hey, we do transrectal probes. Why wouldn't they? I mean, that's.
I'm just saying. Or maybe it's just us doing them.
Maybe.
Yeah,
So can you
literally,
clarify on that
probably
dinner
it.
part?
Huh?
Well, you say dinner. I say dinner too. What do people say?
People
Supper.
in Saskatchewan say supper because they're weird.
People say supper.
Yeah, you guys say dinner, but people say supper.
Yeah, typical non-xenomorph, please.
Yes, I am regular human. I also agree with dinner. I am not alien lizard man.
Do you guys believe in dinner then, or do you guys call it lupper? Lunch and supper. Supper.
I think I'd call it lupper.
Wow.
My son made up.
call it food. Fuck off.
My son made up brupper for brunch supper.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
Isn't that just called lunch then?
In the
No,
Mennonite
he
language,
brought it all the fuck together.
He's like a super
brilliant.
genius.
I think so.
He's achieved super genius level.
No, okay, I'm not kidding though.
With
You know what he said
brupper.
to me the other day? This is a real tangent. He said to me, "Mom, how many minutes are in 20?" Oh fuck! I'm doing it wrong. Never mind. I'll tell you later.
What's heavier, a
That's
ton of feathers or a ton of metal?
How many minutes are in 20 hours? I did the math. I'm like, 1,200. He's like, that means there's 1,200 seconds in 20 minutes because there's 60
Nice.
seconds in a minute. I was like, what the fuck? Oh my God.
Nice.
Like he did this ratio shit. And I was like, anyways.
Very good.
But what is heavier, a ton of feathers or a ton of steel?
All right. We're going to go into Basit's story on
Yeah,
the
'cause
What the
that-
Fuck
yeah.
segment.
All right.
Sorry.
Fucking what the fucking fuck? Who the fuck? Fuck this fucking. How did you do fucking fucks? Fuck!
Well, it certainly illustrates the diversity of the word.
So, what do you guys image when you image a vegan? It's not a tough question. Just
I'm not part of this
no, a
conversation.
hipster.
Hipster?
I visualize a hipster, like a skinny kind of.
like vegan, vegetarian, just
I
kind of
always
like
think
the
of
image.
hippies living on a commune.
When you say vegetarian, I think of your wife.
Nice. Is your wife, by chance, a white supremacist?
Well, she's supremely white.
It may kind of dive into whether or not Gumby is actually racist.
Actually, yes, I am racist. Because everybody is.
So I got assigned this very, very
racist.
unique article that amongst white supremacists, there's a huge trend of vegetarianism and veganism.
Now, is that... I think that that's kind of misleading on its own. Because white supremacists are almost exclusively white. And I don't think
so?
I don't think there's another racial group that has a large number of vegetarians.
Like Hindus,
large number.
like a lot of Hindus.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Yes, I could be wrong.
And that's the best part is when you can admit it, right?
Buddhists.
So
yeah, a lot of Buddhists.
Lots of Buddhists are white.
And lots of Buddhists
I
are
know lots of
Asian
white
and
Specifically,
vegetarian.
there's a lot of Asians that don't eat meat.
Where's
Continuing
this,
with
where's
your
this-
story.
Is this just in North America?
what, the white supremacy thing?
This stuff that you're talking about.
Your story?
Yeah, the story takes place mainly. They're talking about North American.
Okay.
They talk about
All right.
blood and soil. Kind of like that's a very racist way of thinking why the white people are superior. Generally speaking, here Hitler was a vegetarian.
What do you mean, my Hitler?
I never said my Hitler.
You said your Hitler.
You said your Hitler.
What did I?
His Hitler.
You said blah blah blah. Your Hitler. Blah blah.
Quit bugging him. Jesus Christ.
It's not my Hitler.
Just keep going.
Is it my Hitler because I'm white?
That sounds like a fucking SNL
Let the
skit.
man
Man,
talk.
I gotta read.
You gotta stop being racist, man. Stop being so racist.
Fuck.
The
Jesus.
white guy telling me I'm racist.
Just because I'm white doesn't mean I'm a fucking Nazi.
Okay, so Hitler was.
I've had enough to hear, man.
This is why we can't have nice things. Stopping the fucking car and you're walking the rest of the way. Just
Okay.
get out!
Hitler was a vegetarian.
Yeah.
And it typically, I do believe down the road, vegetarianism or veganism is going to become a thing when it comes to climate change. But here's the funny thing. A lot of people become vegetarian or vegan because of health. They do promote it as a better lifestyle. They think you're just as bad as a non-Aryan if you're doing it for that reason. Because there's such thing as being an ethical vegetarian and an unethical vegetarian. Ethical vegetarian if you do it for the sole purpose of animal rights. If you do it for health reasons, you're awful.
Sorry, why are the white supremacists? What is their motivation for being vegetarian?
Hitler was a realistic vegetarian, and it's a better sense of lifestyle.
But wasn't Hitler like he actually liked meat and that stuff, but he had like stomach problems, like he had like it was literal health reasons. That was my understanding. He's also like a drug addict.
They didn't really go on.
He liked to wear shorts. He wore shorts.
Short shorts.
A lot of shorts.
I'm just saying, I believe he was a vegetarian because
He also had a mustache, Dave.
So what?
Remember, this is like really going against Gumby's racism thing.
So did Stalin.
It's not helping your case, buddy. So did your favorite Pinochet, I believe.
So this is like just
so did Allende. So anyway,
so this is like just kind of like a trend they notice, and the reason why this article brought it up is they just find it weird that they're willing to value like these animals' lives so much and care about so much about these rights, yet when it comes to non-whites, all of a sudden it's like just shadowed, and it's a weird thing to care so much about a movement and punish people for using it as a health movement rather than something like stating we're not actually apex predators.
Right.
Which, in all honesty, we are. Where when we look at it as a relative to human and animals, but when it's human to human, all of a sudden we are the superior ones. Like, because of our race, because of our blood and soil bond to the country, which is also completely stupid. So there's a lot of I find this extremely scary. And, the biggest what the fuck about this is veganism and vegetarian. Now, it's not exclusive to, of course, white supremacy, but it is a growing trend. And it's in a way it's romanticized.
Interesting.
With white supremacy. Like, if you look at almost any fucked up trend, there's a lot of propaganda, a lot of good of it that is promoted. For example, there's lots of goods in communism. Karl Marx, the Communist Manifesto makes it sound like it's so great. Well, it's just theories. And, people go out and promote that. And in this case, this is something, let's say, someone that is questioning why aren't we vegans and vegetarians is looking at it and thinking, these guys have a point here, and it may lead to a lot of unintended directions and influence that could lead them to white supremacy unintentionally. Because these people, they don't really think they're racist.
Right. They're just concerned with a white ethno-state for their children
or their culture.
Don't become a vegan because you might become a Nazi. That's what you're saying.
It's a slippery slope.
And of course, down the kale.
I need to go home and tell my wife how her soul is in danger of her becoming a Nazi.
I'm pretty sure I know how she's going to respond.
First, it starts with the kale, then it leads to goose stepping.
Have you been hanging out with Dave? So generally, that's kind of what some of the facts I took away from the article is. At the end of the day, it is like, or kind of overthinking it. It's correlation and causation. You look at it and be like, you could look at it there and it goes like, all right, cool, next.
Right.
So I just pulled this up. Some modern day analysis has theorized that Hitler's vegetarianism may have been due to Richard Wagner's historical theories, or even a psychological reaction to his niece's death, rather than a commitment to animal welfare. These theories are contradicted by reports that he was often distressed by images of animal cruelty and suffering, as well as being an anti-vivisectionarianist.
What's the source on this?
TheWise.com.
The best source of the internet. A second. It's Wikipedia.
Oh, not The Onion?
No. Best source of the internet.
That's,
it's always Reddit.
That's number one.
What's the number one?
The Onion.
Reddit.
Onion.
Reddit is awesome. They quote sources. If they don't, they get downvoted.
Some places of Reddit are awesome.
There's also Reddit has all spectrums.
Yeah.
So.
Some areas of Reddit are awesome. That is a fair statement to say.
Not the alt-right.
All right. Let's do an ad break, and then we'll come back for some science.
If you like what we're doing and want to help us keep the lights on, go become a patron at patreon.com/Brainstorm Podcast. You can hear the bonus half hour that we record every episode and get a shout out when you support the show. Become a patron for just $1 an episode at patreon.com/Brainstorm Podcast. Or you can support the show by ordering a t-shirt, mug, or other gear from our store at caffeepress.ca/Brainstorm Podcast Gear. If you can't afford to become a patron or buy gear, then why not give us a rating or write a review on iTunes or Stitcher? Every rating makes it easier for people to find us. Thanks for your support.
We are given one life, full of billions of small and large decisions. To be somebody, to change, to be kind, to give hope, to become a better person, and to leave a lasting impact on this planet. It is a decision to be made every single day while your heart is still beating. We've made our decision. Absence of Clothing, atheist and science-based apparel and merchandise, donating 50% of our profits to charity. Look good and feel good, without God. Check us out at absenceofclothing.com and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest for discount codes and other sweet swag.
Use the code BRAINSTORM at absenceofclothing.com and get 10% off. The Hardcore Skeptic Examines is a bi-monthly documentary-style podcast that includes interviews, research, and commentary from your host, Cory Johnston. That's me. As the host of the Brainstorm podcast, I've spent the last 3+ years trying to spread critical thinking and skepticism while having fun. This project is intended to look at some of those same topics covered by Brainstorm, but a bit deeper. With the long intervals between episodes and the long format, I'm hoping to provide good information that educates as well as entertains. Check out my Patreon for more details at www.patreon.com/hardcoreskeptic or follow my Twitter at hardcoreskeptic.
Hey, all you listeners, I'm Robert.
And I'm Amy from Secular Yakking.
And we just wanted to let you know that if you've got 30 minutes to kill,
then we're the podcast for you. We're just some old married couple who's been yakking at each other over the many years.
And we thought we should start making it so you can listen in on our yakking.
We dig past the mainstream and bring you the news that you may or may not have heard about.
We take a look at politics, religion, science, and pretty much anything we feel like yakking about and sharing it with you. And let us not forget our weekly Mr. Potter Award.
No, we're not professionals on anything we talk about, but we love to yak about stuff and give you our opinion on the matter.
So tune in at secularyacking.com or check out our feed on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and anywhere good podcasts can be heard.
And who knows what craziness will happen.
Yeah, just like this.
Wrong whole joke, but...
I just did. I just said, did you hear me?
No, I didn't.
All right. I think it's Lisa's turn. We have a bumper for science now.
Science.
That was the
if you base medicine on science, you cure people. If you base the design of planes on science, they fly. If you base the design of rockets on science, they reach the moon. It works, bitches.
Yes, science.
Wow.
It works, bitches.
That sounded awkward. I don't know who was. Is that Dawkins?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
I hate. Okay, nothing. Like, no wonder you can't convince anyone of anything.
Dawkins is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say I love everything.
I love him too, but he just sounds so.
Oh, he threw the bag at you.
But he's like got that
jerk
16
face. I
position.
don't
I'm gonna
like
talk
him
to you like
anymore
this
anyways.
with you from now on.
That is how his voice is a little grating.
You just want the harsh, grating voice of
You
Hitchens all
say
the time.
stuff like medicine.
Medicine.
Or do you prefer
Fuck
the
those
Sam
people.
Harris,
British
where every word that comes out?
Nobody
is
prefers Sam Harris.
condescending?
Nobody
I do.
prefers
I love
Sam
him
Harris.
so much.
Whatever I say will always come up. He's comic guy. He is comic
I know.
guy.
I will admit, I listen to Sam Harris help me fall asleep. I do, actually. I do.
That's because his voice is
it's hypnotic.
He's got
See, what you
guided
find
meditation
hypnotic,
on
I
his
find
website.
meditative
Actually
and
find his
relaxing.
voice that boring. I can't imagine that man being like sexy in bed. It's like ooh. Okay, back to the podcast.
No, Sam Harris is seriously sexy. Anyways, okay, so
He's like a weak Ben Affleck.
only a straight man would think Sam Harris is anything like Ben Affleck.
He's like,
The appeal
He's
is
like
not the same. No.
Maybe that's why they were
Just
both
no.
on the Bill Maher show.
Just
This is
no.
Ben Affleck, and this is weaker Ben Affleck.
Oh, I see the reference. Okay, can I talk about this shit now?
Lisa has science.
Lisa has a science
All
story.
right.
Yeah, we have Ben Affleck.
All right, so this is
He's a
we
son
found
of a
this
bitch.
on iflscience.com. 9-year study finally explains the relationship. Finally, because everyone was waiting. Finally explains the relationship between sugar and cancer.
Finally.
Okay, so basically, it's actually kind of hard to understand. This is about cancer, and so it was in science was given to me. But I'm not a person who knows things about biology, and it's actually about biology. So I'm going to try to explain this in a way that I understand it. And apologies to the authors, because who knows. Anyways, okay. So every cell in the body needs sugar to survive, but cancer cells seem to require more than healthy cells do. They also seem to break sugar down faster. Cancer's mechanism of speedily metabolizing sugar is known as the Warburg effect. And like I happen to know that we use this is like an off. But we use positron emission tomography, for example, to visualize cancer, because certain forms of cancer, you inject a type of glucose called FTG, which is laced with a radionuclide in the patient's body. And then cancer is like yum sugar, and it tends to uptake in cancer more. And then because it's also radioactive, it glows in positrons.
Nice.
Basically, anyways, don't worry about it. Doesn't matter how the mechanism works, but anyways, but basically you can see like where cancer is functionally by taking a
I think
PET
you've
scan.
explained this to us before.
Yeah. So anyways, so this is sugar. So cancer likes sugar. Great. And so this group in Belgium did a long study using yeast. Okay, and what they so yeast also, just like cancer, likes to metabolize sugar and that's great. Now, okay, I'm sorry. There is a type of protein called a RAS protein. Now, apparently, I don't know what's the link between so when they found that when their yeast I'm sorry, I'm making this so boring. When they're it's really hard. This is what I mean. Like I'm trying to make it sound plausible, right? But this is why it's so hard to explain.
Sounded kind of sexy.
RAS, yeah, RAS. Just RAS. 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 Yeah. Wow. Okay, so this protein, basically, long and short of it, is stimulated when this yeast creates or metabolites more. Yeah, thank you. Metabolites more sugar. So, okay, but that's important with respect to cancer because RAS is crucial and has a relationship with oncogenes. Or it's a proto-oncogene, meaning that basically. It tells cells to keep growing and keep dividing and keep going, which is one of the problems with cancer. Right? So cancer won't stop growing. It won't stop getting signals to keep growing. So RAS is part of that process. And they have shown a link that more sugar metabolism means more RAS. So rather than so it was kind of a chicken and egg question. Do cancer cells have a lot of like to eat sugar because they're growing and or is sugar causing is metabolizing sugar causing this and it turns out yes it's causing stimulation of growth. Now just to be clear, this does not mean there's been a definitive link between dietary intake of sugar and cancer. Okay,
except there has.
Yeah, but this particular study does not mean that there is a link between dietary intake of sugar. It just means sugar, for example, as created by this yeast, which was not just like sprinkle sugar, it made the sugar out of something else. It does not necessarily make cancer binates. Okay. But on the level of the cell, where the cell metabolizes it as cancer, it will stimulate cell growth.
Also, according to the Canadian Cancer Society, intake of sugar, especially in North America, Canadiana. Canadians and Americans predominantly consume a lot of sugar. Sugar leads to people being overweight or obese. When you're overweight or obese, your body can produce different amounts of hormones, which is linked to things like colon cancer, breast cancer.
Right. But these are correlations. I don't know. There's a really strong causal link found. I wouldn't be surprised. But in any event, so I had a friend, for example, who had
eating sugar makes you obese. Being obese makes you produce more hormones. More hormones makes you have cancer. That's
I don't know that is.
But not every fat person gets cancer.
No. It increases your odds, though. So
what I was just going to say is, I had a friend who had cancer, and I think she felt quite out of control. Like she as cancer is sort of, you kind of just have to, okay, these are your treatments. That's what you got to kind of do if you want best chance of survival, and you just kind of do it. Yep. So one thing she did is she stopped eating sugar, and she really wanted really healthy foods. And I don't know, and she read that, if she didn't eat as much sugar, the cancer wouldn't have as much to feed on, it wouldn't grow as much. And it just made her feel, and she still did the chemo and the radiation. It just made her feel more in control. And, so we helped her with that, when had her over for dinner. We didn't make cake. We made some, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's fine. But I'm just saying that sort of causal link is not demonstrated by this. So if you have cancer, there's nothing to say that, if you eat sugar, it'll cause it to grow more. That's all I'm saying.
My dad did a similar thing where he had cancer and decided, I'm going to cut back way on my sugars. And I was like, I don't think that's a thing. But he watched a show on a documentary, so of course it was.
So that causal link wasn't established in this study. That's all I'm saying. So, as far as I know, there's no limit. If you actually, there may be certainly like long term. Of course, you consume more sugar, you're at a higher risk of developing cancer. But once you have cancer, I don't think that there's something to say that it's going to grow faster. If
eating cancer will
give you cancer. Your dad also tried to pull a Steve Jobs, though.
He did, yeah.
Ooh.
But he didn't. He went with the traditional treatment, so.
The one that works?
Yeah, the one that works.
Also, the chicken and the egg thing, I've always hated that because there's no mystery there. It's
always the egg.
Yeah.
Did the chicken come first, or did the chicken egg come first? Is that what you're thinking of?
No, it's simple. The egg came from something that wasn't quite a chicken.
At some point.
Yeah, that's how the chicken egg came. It's not even a question.
Yeah.
Don't even
It's a
contradict him on
fucking
that.
like analogy metaphor thing, okay? You knew what I fucking meant, as in like which was
I
causal
know. I
to
just
the
said
other,
I don't like
is
it.
rather than saying.
I wasn't saying that you're wrong. I just said I don't.
Just being a dick.
I really hate that analogy.
I will try to from now on
It started
tailor.
out as an alien plant.
No. But from now on, I think no, but guys,
I think we
everyone
need to go
listen.
further
No, this
back.
is really important. We all need to be really careful from now on. We need to tailor our analogies to only Destin approved ones that he will be okay with. Otherwise, his sweet little snowflake.
I can dislike illogical analogies.
Just remember, face huggers came before these xenomorphs.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Just saying. Don't make any analogies Destin doesn't like. Okay, just don't do it, people.
All right, Angela, what do you got?
Are you also going to sexualize the story? Harass?
You just did with the face
stimulate?
huggers.
I'm gonna.
You got to.
I find that stimulating.
Blast through this one fast.
Blood transfuses from women who have been pregnant may be lethal to men.
Unless you can't, and then I guess we'll just.
I can. There was a study done suggesting that blood from women who had been pregnant previously were more likely to kill you. 1.5 times more likely. Don't fucking interrupt me. Let me get through this story. Let me fucking talk. Holy shit.
Look to your left, Angela. Look to your left.
So the most
I
common cause
just
of death.
interrupted you without interrupting you.
Suck my lady dick, honestly.
Yeah, it came first.
It's it's already a thing that women who've been pregnant can't fucking donate plasma
Is that right?
because they've been pregnant, and it changes your physiology, and only men or women who haven't been pregnant can donate that stuff.
Interesting.
But I thought it was funny because we're already horrible, and we're to blame for everything anyways. So we're more likely to kill
So
you
now
if we've
you're
donated
killing
blood.
us.
Yes.
See, I was going to say
The plan
pregnant
is
women are more
working.
likely to kill you. Period.
I was fucking euphoric when I was pregnant.
I don't know.
Euphoric.
From the look in Angela's eyes, she's.
I
gonna
don't
kill
believe
you.
her.
I am not
I don't believe she's a
currently
euphoric.
She looks like she might murder you right now.
That was that fast enough for you?
That's fantastic.
Okay.
Wait, is it true or not?
It's true.
Okay.
It's just
Thanks.
it's
Sorry,
honestly
for
it's
clarity.
not as it's like the number of deaths per 1,000 is very small when you have a blood transfusion, and you have 1.5
Okay,
times.
sorry. When you said are going to kill someone, you meant with blood transfusion. It's all in my brain now. Okay, got it. Yeah, we're good.
See,
Gumby threw you off.
He
that
threw me
ball.
off so bad.
Yeah.
And then laughing about Angela's awesomeness.
can you
also.
take that "Don't fucking interrupt me" and like put that into the new intro that you make one day?
That'll fit perfectly.
I also think I can give you the mute button next time.
Okay.
You can turn Gumby off at any moment.
When we do the new intro, it should be like me going, and then Angela going, don't fucking interrupt me.
Because I yelled that. I didn't hold back.
That was
It's
well
either
done.
that or
That's well
suck
done.
my lady dick.
Oh, that is so going.
Suck my lady.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the closing information. I want to thank anybody who commented and liked our YouTube videos. We don't really focus on YouTube, but because Christy Winters uploaded a mirror of my interview with her onto her channel, we've had some people commenting negatively on our YouTube and giving us thumbs down. I can't do anything about the thumbs down, but shitty comments get deleted. So thanks to anybody who commented positively and gave us a thumbs up on our YouTube channel.
We have a YouTube channel.
We have a YouTube channel.
And
See-
other people should do it too.
Yes, that's right. Other people should do it. Libsyn, the service we use to host the podcast, automatically converts our audio file into a video and uploads it to YouTube. So that's how we have a YouTube channel. It's not because we create YouTube videos. We also got some retweets and stuff on Twitter and some Follow Fridays. I really want to thank everybody who did that. No new patrons this sweet time around, but this month I've uploaded 6 patron-only posts. So in addition to that, plus early access to any full-length ad-free episodes and other episodes of Skeptic Voices or The Hardcore Skeptic, you get a lot of bonuses by being a patron. You can do that at patreon.com/brainstormpodcast.
You should be a patron.
That's right.
You can be cool like us.
I want to thank Lisa, Gumby, and Rob for being our top patrons. And of course, I have to thank the rest of the patrons. Will, Aaron, Daryl, Destin Sucks, Lachlan, Magnus.
Fuck you, Alden.
Michael, Nathan, and Stephanie.
Hey, I'll be a patron if I can put that as my name.
You can absolutely put that as
Destin Sucks 2.0.
It would just be like nothing but Destin Sucks patron.
I'd like to thank Destin Sucks, Destin Sucks, Destin Sucks.
Sucks the Destin.
Just get a whole bunch of different patrons.
Destin still sucks.
DT.
We have no new reviews on our Facebook page or on iTunes, but the Facebook page is up to 945 likes.
Holy shit. Let's go to 1,000, folks.
We're going
Make
for
65
1,000.
fake account, guys. 55, sorry. Whoops.
Destin's going streaking
My
if
name's
we
Destin.
get 1,000.
No, that's not.
No, that's a
No,
punishment.
no.
I'll
Only if
also
we don't
give
get
away
1,000.
I still have 3 ball caps that are with
He's not
hand
going
embroidered
streaking.
logos on them, and I'll give those
That
away.
barely have any sweat stains.
0 sweat stains, in fact.
I'm jealous.
Never been on a human head.
Yet.
Yet. That's right.
You specified a human.
Okay.
You could have meant exceeded
Plug your
more.
stuff. Angela was on a show.
I was on the Women Beyond Belief podcast.
Yay!
It was an impromptu Skype chat that turned into a podcast.
And it was
fun.
quite good.
Did you listen to
Yeah,
it?
of course I listened to
Good.
it.
Oh, nice. Feedback is welcome.
I have no feedback. It was brilliant.
No.
It was amazing.
Sounds consistent with Angela.
That sounds like feedback to me.
I like the part where you had words.
Yeah?
Yeah, the words.
Had
He
the
didn't
greatest
understand
words.
them.
No, but they were there. And
It
there
was 2 women talking. I'm pretty sure you tuned out after the first word.
That's the lady dick being wailed around there, man.
I just slapped you with my lady dick.
it's not that I didn't hear you. It's that I wasn't listening.
Exactly. Exactly. You tuned out. In your head, you were like,
Not only did I didn't understand you, I didn't listen.
Oh, this is a fun episode.
It takes us a while to get warmed up. Once we do. It's,
Hey, now the show's really good. And we're
59
done.
minutes later.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
Bye.
So Angela, the Shift to Reason planning team, and I started a GoFundMe with a goal of $5,000. This will go towards the conference we're trying to put on, and yeah.
I
We're
even
committed.
posted a video
Yes.
of myself talking.
We're 10% there, right?
We are.
And all,
over.
all donations go directly to your ticket price.
That's right. All donations go directly to your ticket price.
And the more donations, the lower the ticket price.
I'll fucking
Right.
make you a blanket if you over donate.
So if
That's
I put
right.
in like $100, you'll make me a blanket?
If you put in like $100 plus $100, I'll make you a fucking blanket.
So like $150.
Okay, just go on Etsy and get
Yeah.
someone to make. She's busy, okay? Like
That's banker math right there.
Yeah,
$100 plus $100, so
You can
$150.
hook me up with the wealthy benefactor so I don't have to work. I will make you a fucking blanket.
yeah,
Is it a nice blanket?
It's the best.
she makes beautiful blankets. I can.
I guess that's her plug-in.
All right, let's cue that outro music. Oh, I guess the Shift to Reason GoFundMe is at gofundme.com/Shift to Reason Conference 2018 with dashes in between all those words.
Give us money.
Please.
We'll
Stay
put on
away
a
from
great
B.O.B..
conference with demonstrating the intersection between skepticism and social justice. And it will be harassment-free environment.
With childcare.
So Gumby's
With
allowed?
Yeah, Gumby.
Bring your kids.
I don't think you can guarantee that. You can try.
We can take care of and remove anybody who is engaged in harassment.
We'll punch them like they're Nazis.
Fuck yeah. So you can check out the show notes at thebrainstormpodcast.com and our website, brainstormblog.net. Thanks to our financial supporters, Aaron, Daryl, Destin, Sucks, Lachlan, Lisa, Magnus, Michael, Nathan, Positively Skeptical, Rob, Stephanie, and Will. If you want to join their ranks and help the show grow, then you can do that at patreon.com/brainstormpodcast. You can join us live every second week when we broadcast live on Spreaker. You can join us at spreaker.com/user/brainstormpodcast. Our next guest is Michael Smith from the Poorly Summarized Podcast.
Sweet.
I want to thank Rob for joining us, and I lament that Amy could not. You can find more about their podcast at secularyacking.com. I'll put the link in the show notes. Thanks to Dave for our intro music. Thanks to Alex Kemper-Murdoch for doing the voiceover for the intro and some of our ads. And thanks to Jason Camo for our outro music. You can find his stuff over at aloststateofmind.com. All music played is either with permission or under the SOCAN license to play. For more information on SOCAN, you can check out the music license info page on our website, brainstormblog.net. Remember to give us a rating, a thumbs up, or a fave on your favorite podcatcher, and join our Facebook group. Like our page, join us on Twitter, share the show, and spread the word. For live listeners, stick around for the after show. You can go to mixler.com/the-brainstorm-podcast and listen to the bonus content before it goes patron only. Thanks for listening, and remember, the truth matters.
This is an opinion-based podcast. Each person on the podcast is responsible for their own opinions, and those opinions don't necessarily reflect the views of the rest of the panel. Any guests or anyone associated with the people on the podcast, such as spouses, partners, children, other family members, friends, or employers. No one person speaks for the podcast with the possible exception of Cory, and he doesn't speak for anyone else on the show. The Brainstorm podcast does not represent the views of our sponsors.
We just wanted to say thanks to everyone who listens to us, shares the show, gives us a rating on iTunes or Stitcher, or supports us through Patreon and Gumroad. We don't have a lot of interactions with our listeners, but what we have had proves that we attract some of the best people around. Smart, kind, and cool. An audience truly worthy of the titles hardcore and woo-free. Thanks for helping us make the world a smarter place.